Hey there, one of the core tenets of Life in Air is that we put life first and work and business second. This goes in the back seat. The first priority is life. Now, you may think that sounds great in theory, but in real life, there's no way this is possible. So in this video, I want to show you how to actually do this. How do you prioritize your calendar and your schedule in a way that puts all the things you want to do on it first? And of course, those things come from your vision, right? And then secondly, how much time is actually going to be left to work and how can we make this a reality in our business so that we can still make the money we want while also having the freedom we want. Let's dive in. Before I show you my ideal calendar, I want to show you the typical calendar of the average business owner or employee so that you have a context as to why this is so important. Now, an average week for somebody is you commute into work. Now, even if you work out of your house and your commute is the walk across your hallway to your home office, you're just working, right? So forget about driving in the car, you're just working the extra half hour. You're going to work all day, commute home, and then decompress by plopping down on the couch, grabbing a beer, glass of wine, and watching the latest episode of Dance Moms, right? Whatever that is. And you go to bed. Now, what does the rest of the week look like? The same exact thing. Now, maybe you have some ambitions to go out Friday night with the guys, the girls, and have some fun, but you're so exhausted, you actually go to bed earlier than the rest of the week. Now, if you're following along visually, this is what it looks like. All right, by the end of the week, you are ready to roll down and play dead. Now, Saturday, you have free time, right? No. What really happens on Saturday is you catch up on all the things that you didn't get done Monday through Friday. So this means mowing the lawn, going grocery shopping, cleaning the house, doing the laundry, doing the errands, right? And Saturday isn't much help. And then we spend Sunday either dreading going back to work or working. So this is the average calendar. So the question I have for you is like, how are you supposed to live the life you want when this is your calendar? How many hours are left in the week for the things you want to do versus have to do? And so when you live this calendar, it's no wonder you can't even believe it's possible to live any other way. And my question to you, and it's a sobering question, is this, is if you follow this calendar for the average duration of someone's work life, their career of say 25 to 65, 40 years, how much time is left during your life over a lifetime to do the things you want? And that's a very sobering thought. And that's why I'm so passionate about this and sharing with you a different way, a new perspective to how to structure your work and your life balance. So now let's look into a different version, a different way to do this, a superior way to do that. Now, when you think about this, I want you to realize and approach this with an open mind that this doesn't happen overnight, but this is something that you'll be able to accomplish fully. We're going to start off with a blank calendar, just like we did a moment ago. But this time, what I'm going to do is put all the things I want to do first. Now, I want to emphasize here, this is not a rigid calendar that I follow, because that would drive me nuts. The thought of having to do things, oh, it just sends shivers down my spine and it would just drive me nuts. So we're going to put the things I want to do first with the sole intention of finding out how much time is left for work after those things are on the calendar. All right, so here we go. For me, it's family time in the morning before my girls go to school. Cardio. My dad died of a heart attack at 57. I'm not trying to repeat history, and so that's really important to me. There's a little state park down the street from my house, and when I have a chance, I'll go for a little hike with my little wiener dog named Rusty. I love working out, and so I'm going to go to the gym several times a week. Plus, like I mentioned, I have girls, and if I'm going to scare off as many potential guys as I can, I need some muscles or guns or tattoos or something. So we need something there. Massage, I love getting massages, right? So I'm going to put that in. Now, by the way, that doesn't happen every week. It's usually every other week. But what I'm doing is putting that on my calendar so that I see that time is taken, if that makes sense. I started a Toastmasters group at a local men's homeless shelter here. I don't go every week, but this is on there, right? I'm keeping it blocked, occupied with something from my vision so that I don't fill it with work. Lunch with a friend. Oftentimes on Fridays, this doesn't always happen. And the reason is because many times my friend is busy. They're unable to move that date. I can almost, with some exception, move around almost everything in my calendar. And yet still, hey, I'm in the field with my boss, or hey, I got a meeting, or hey, we have this project that came up. And whatever the excuse is, whatever the reason is, sometimes that friend is unable to meet me for lunch. Date night with my wife, even with 2 young girls. This is super important for us, keeping the relationship strong. Thursday night, we have a worship band. I play guitar in the worship band of my church. We have Thursday night services as well as Sunday. Dinner time with family, important to me. Daddy-daughter date night. Now, this doesn't happen anymore, but I wanted to leave it on here for an illustrative purposes. My daughter recently graduated college. Before she went to college, we'd have this daddy-daughter date night. Now, when she went to school, what happened was she could call me almost any day with a lot of availability and say, hey, Dad, you want to meet me for lunch? You want to come out for dinner? and I could make the trip out there. She's about 2.5 hours away, and I was able to do that with her. And so that's the power of this flexibility of this calendar. So I left it in there for illustrative purposes, and I hope that makes sense. Nap. I'm going to take a nap. I love taking naps. All right, so those are going in there. This is where all my friends give me grief, but I love the naps, and so they're keeping them in there. Fun time, church, and you can see here now what isn't on here yet. Work. So I can tell you on average, somewhere in the neighborhood of 18 to 20 to 24 hours is left available for work. Again, it's not a hard and fast, rigid calendar that I have to do all these things. That would drive me nuts. But what I'm doing, this is so important to grasp this concept, is putting down all the things I want to do first so that I can see how much time I have left available for work. Now, I want to do something here, and I want you to play along with me. We're going to round this to 20 hours a week, all right, for easy math. We're going to round this to 20 hours a week. And so some of you are looking at this calendar right now, and you're like, there's no way possible on God's green earth that I can accomplish everything I need to do in my business, everything I need to do in my job in only 20 hours a week. And this is where I want to challenge you. We have 4 reasons why this is absolutely possible for you. Now, if you're working 80, 100 hours per week and you're trying to get down to 20, it's not going to happen overnight, but you absolutely can make this a reality. And I'm going to show you how. Number 1, Pareto principle, the 80-20 rule. This says that the majority of outputs, the 80%, comes from the minority of inputs. So for instance, 20% of your customers give you 80% of your revenues. 20% of your employees give you 80% of your problems. As it pertains to time, 80% of the results in your business come from 20% of the time you put in. Now, if we look at a 40-hour work week, what's 20% of a 40-hour work week? It's 8 hours. So that means 80% of the results in your business come from 8 hours of work per week. Let that sink in for a second. So if we just round my calendar to 20 hours, right? You literally can work almost 3 times as much. That 8 hours times 3 is 24 hours, so we're a little bit over 20, and get way more than 80%, right? And so the Pareto principle is the first line of reasoning that I want to use to show you that you can make this a reality. The next one is something called Parkinson's Law. Parkinson's Law states that the amount of time you have available for work is the amount of time it will take you. In other words, you had a term paper back in high school to get done. They gave you 2 weeks, it took you 2 weeks. They give you a day, it took you a day. You got it done. And so work expands to fill the available space. Now, if you look back at my calendar that I just showed you, when I have my nap on there, I have the gym on there, I have family time on there, I have to ask myself, what do I want to give up if I want to work more? And the answer is none of that. And so by putting those things on your calendar, by having those things in your vision that you can concretely put onto your daily calendar, now you have a reason to stop working, you reduce the availability of those hours, and Parkinson's Law kicks in. So in other words, you'll still get done your work. Now, here's the other thing that's really important too, is I have a reason why I have to get that work done. And this is going to tie into our next reason. Let's say that you are leaving on a vacation, you're taking a cruise first thing Saturday morning, the boat's leaving, and that Friday before you leave, you get more done than the previous Monday through Thursday. Now, if you're laughing along with me, it's because this has happened to you. It certainly has happened to me. You have to ask yourself, like, how is that possible? How can I get more done in one day than I can in the previous 4? And the answer is because you have to. And so when you have these items on your calendar and they are valuable to you and there's a reason behind them, they're part of your vision, now you find the way to get it done. Now, by the way, maybe you're not doing everything in your business, okay? I'm not gonna say you're doing everything. We talk about this in different videos. There's something I teach called the SEED method, which stands for Strategic Elimination, Automation, and Delegation. But this allows you to really move the needle in your business in a fraction of the time. I want to give you a couple other things here, and this is one more big one. 2017, it's a little bit dated, but it's still valid. Study was done in the UK. They surveyed 1,989 office workers, and they found that in an average 8-hour workday, only 2 hours and 53 minutes of actual productive work was done. So let's round that to 3 hours. 3 hours a day accounted for 100% of that 8-hour workday's output. I want to repeat that. 3 hours per day were responsible for 100% of the output. Now, if we multiply that by 5 for Monday through Friday, we have 15 hours a week of real work being done, not 40. These lines of evidence, these observable things that either happen to you or you've seen in other people, I hope shows you that this is possible. This is something you absolutely can do. And again, it doesn't happen overnight, but when you have this reason, when you have a why for the things you got to get done. Now, yes, you have to do things a little bit differently in your business. Yes, you got to restructure some things. You can learn about that in a separate video. But this is the start of living with life first and prioritizing life first and business second. I hope you found this video valuable. I hope you do something with it. I hope you start moving towards this level of prioritization in your life, because when you do this, many times you'll actually even make more money. And the reason is because now you have a tangible goal. You have breaks, you have things that fulfill you and that you find meaningful. And now when you attack work, and you got to work hard in those boundaries. And this is where I want to say some of the life leaders I know are some of the hardest working people I know, but they do it within those very narrow windows. The world is your oyster. You can do anything you want, and you can have both a life and business you want. Hope this makes sense. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you do something with it. We will see you in the next video.